Hello, welcome back to the We Are City channel. A little bit late with this one. It is my review, match day review of Brighton. A little bit late because I've had time to think about this. I've been busy today and it totally crossed my mind, but I did want to talk about the game. I didn't want to miss out on our match day ratings and review, and we do our match day ratings review here on screen. Not me today on the face cam. It is Roberto De Zerbi, the Brighton manager, who I have to say had a masterclass at the Etihad. Unfortunately, didn't work in his favour, but tactically, I thought Brighton were fantastic. City won 3-1 in the end, and what shone through in that game was not City's, outstanding play, but City's actual individual quality. An individual quality from Erling Haaland, from Kevin De Bruyne, perhaps Bernardo Silva as well, maybe also Ederson, is what won Manchester City that game, especially that De Bruyne goal, the third one, later on in the second half. That won the game for Manchester City because Brighton were the better team. Brighton tactically, I thought, outclassed Manchester City. I thought Brighton were better than Manchester City throughout the game. Brighton came with a game plan which was fantastic from De Zerbi. He decided, but you know what, we'll make Manchester City play a way they don't want to play. We're going to make City play the long ball. We're going to make City try and play counter-attacking football. And City just couldn't do it. The long ball was not in our area. We needed to slam more balls up to Erling Haaland, really. And the times we did, we were successful with it. And we got in behind Brighton. But Brighton pressed man-to-man, pretty much really man-to-man. And they decided that Ederson would get a lot of the ball for City. That caused problems because Ederson didn't have his best of time, did he? In possession, I know he got an assist for the Haaland opening goal, but I don't think Ederson had a wonderful time, actually, on the ball. Brighton give Ederson a lot of time on the ball, and usually teams don't particularly do that, or they do because they think, well, Ederson's good on the ball anyway, we'll leave him to it. Today, Ederson wasn't at his best, maybe because he was asked to do too much on the ball, and that could have been the issue, and I don't think he had a particularly good game, Ederson, especially in his distribution. Brighton, like I said, played man-to-man. Brighton played wonderful football. They knocked it around absolutely fantastically, and I tell you what, if that was a sort of audition from Roberto De Zerbi to take over from Pep Guardiola at Manchester City, I have to say he's on the right route, because I was impressed, and I'm sure the Manchester City staff and board were impressed. I think the fans are pretty impressed. You let us know in the comments down below. The first goal came from a long ball from Ederson through over the Brighton defence. Haaland, just his strength and physicality, mistake I think by Robert Sanchez, the Brighton keeper, who was just overzealous coming out for it, couldn't beat the pace of Haaland to it. Webster is just shrugged over to the side, and Haaland puts it into an empty net. City then made it 2-0. A goal that came from a penalty off Bernardo Silva. I thought it was a soft one personally, but I thought the foul on Haaland by Davinson Sanchez in the build-up before that goal actually was more of a penalty. But anyway, City get the penalty. Sanchez doesn't even move. Haaland smashed it into the back of net. I mean, before even the whistle was blown, that ball was in the back of net. It felt like moved so fast, the keeper didn't expect it. Brighton then equalised after City. Wonderful play, actually, from City this time. Work it wide to Riyad Mahrez. He's one-on-one with goalkeeper Sanchez. Puts it straight at him. It's a good save, but I feel like he should finish that chance. Brighton go up the other end. Leandro Trossard from the left-hand side cuts into his stronger right foot and beats Ederson at his near post. From then on, City felt even more shaky than they already had in the game, give away the ball a lot. We saw Diaz give the ball away quite a lot. We saw Rodri and Pep Guardiola unhappy in the first half with the way they were playing. City too much backwards, City passing to Ederson too much, and Ederson not really finding the passes at all. Then the game was finished off by a KDB absolute cracker dipping into the top left-hand corner with his right foot from the edge of the box. That is what won Manchester City this game. But Brighton were fantastic. I have to say, real credit to Lewis Dunk. I thought he was really good at the back for Brighton. I thought Moises Caicedo looked like a young Fernandinho, the Ecuadorian. He was fantastic, on the ball, perfect, making challenges, making so many ball-winning challenges, winning the ball back. Got around the pitch so well. I think he's in line for a big move. Maybe not next summer, maybe the summer after. He looks a real top-quality player. I think the likes of Manchester United, possibly. Chelsea, especially Graham Potter. Maybe even Manchester City would be interested in Moises Caicedo. I'd love him at City. I think he was absolutely fantastic. Alexis McAllister played well also. Trossard was a danger man. I think if Brighton had a decent striker, not like Danny Welbeck is really bad, but he's not the quality they need, Brighton would have maybe done better in that game. That game was more of a 2-2 than a 3-1. But like I said, City's quality shone through. So as the ratings, I've give Pep a 4, which is harsh. Very harsh. I think tactically, he got absolutely outdone by De Zerbi. I know he won the game, but I think they were so much better. I think Pep had to find another way out of this one. And tactically, he didn't set us up right. I just don't like this Akanji at right back. Akanji is not a right back. Stones wasn't fit, I suppose. Kyle Walker still injured. Maybe why don't we just put Cancelo at right back and Sergio Gomez at left back? I think Sergio Gomez won't play for City for a long while after that red card. I think Pep Guardiola is going to be teaching him a lesson. We've seen him do that with players before. Ederson gets a 4 in goal. No way he should get beat by that Trossard chance. There's no way, and his kicking was atrocious all game bar the goal. Akanji's not a right back, and he proved that in yesterday's game. 4 for Manuel Akanji, really poor. Diaz, his passing was really poor again. In a game where Brighton pressed and played man-to-man, we needed Ruben Diaz to play at a high level in his distribution, and he couldn't do that. Laporte was decent. I think probably our best defender in that back line with Cancelo. I thought Cancelo at times was quite good also. He defended well, tried to go forward when he could, Joao Cancelo. Into the midfield, I think Rodri was an average game for him, so it's sort of the same level as Aymeric Laporte. He gave away the ball quite a few times, Rodri as well. Bernardo Silva did a lot of running, and he gets a 7 because he won that penalty for City, so that's got to be a plus point, hasn't it? De Bruyne, I didn't think he did his best of games, really. I don't think he's playing at level, and Pep Guardiola after the game said KDB isn't playing at his usual level, but I've given him an 8 and man of the match because that goal wins us that game. If he doesn't score that absolute wonderful strike, I think Brighton get back into that one. So De Bruyne wins us that game single-handedly with that wonder goal. If it wasn't for that, perhaps Brighton could have been coming away with a 2-2 draw there. And of course, with Arsenal dropping points today against Southampton, which is fantastic, and Spurs losing as well, City just a little bit closer to Arsenal at top, just 2 points behind them. I mean, if Southampton had done City even more a favour and won that game, then City would be only 1 point trailing the league leaders. Grealish gets a 6 in the left. I thought it was okay. Did a few little runs at the defence and had a few nice moments. Not amazing, but okay. Riyad Mahrez gets a 3. I thought he was probably the worst player in the field, and he got dragged off by Pep not too far into the second half. Mahrez had a shocker. Really, a little nutmeg in the build-up for the first goal, or the second goal it was. But other than that, I mean, that chance he missed, he just seemed to give the ball away every opportunity. I just don't know what was going on with Riyad Mahrez. I don't know what is going on with Riyad Mahrez in general at Manchester City at the moment. Nowhere near the level, but he tends to sort of pick up towards the second half of the season after January. So after the World Cup, where I don't think Algeria are going, we might see Riyad Mahrez be the Riyad Mahrez we know he can be, especially in the Champions League knockout stages. Haaland at 8, similar to Kevin De Bruyne, didn't do much really in Haaland, but his quality shone through. And those 2 chances, the penalty was fantastic. I mean, if you can score a penalty for City, I already rate you because we don't really have a sort of players that can do that. But also the goal he scored where he ran through and just bundled over Webster. Great strength, great pace, great running, great attacking intelligence. Then onto the bench, Julian Alvarez came on. Didn't do much, did a lot of running. A 6. Phil Foden changed the game a little bit in City's favour. I do think he was a way to combat the way they were playing. When he came on for Mahrez, City did feel a little bit more comfortable with Mahrez, and he didn't give the ball away quite the same amount. And then finally, he got to 7, Phil Foden, sorry. And Cole Palmer, I've give a 5. He had a chance, and to me, Cole Palmer seems to take very long to make decisions. He couldn't make a decision whether to pass or shoot on that chance that he had. That'll come with time, hopefully, but by 20 years of age, that he is now 19 years of age, you're hoping that he's already got that in his locker. That will come with time, hopefully, or will come pretty soon if he's going to be playing at such a high level from Manchester City. But I have to say credit to Brighton. Some of the football they played was absolutely brilliant. That is the sort of football I want Manchester City to play, and I think that is the sort of football a manager like the Zerbi could bring to Manchester City. So I'm not preempting Pep Guardiola leaving. As far as I'm concerned, I hope Pep Guardiola stays at Manchester City for another 15, 20, 30 years, for as long as he can. I mean, his whole life. That would be fantastic. But if he was to leave at any point, let's see how this man does at Brighton. But I have to say, impressed tactically with him today, De Zerbi. The way he approached the game was to obviously Brighton to play their game that made it hard for City, but also he made City play in a way we don't want to play, which is the long ball, which is lumping it forward. We don't want to play a long ball, and that was proven today. And I hope other teams don't try and do that. I have to say, though, that it's brave and it's very, very hard to pull off a man-to-man marking system. We've seen Cardiff do it against Manchester City a few years ago under Neil Warnock. That worked out very badly. But Brighton, I have to say, despite the 3-1 defeat, I thought they got it pretty right today. And I think they were unlucky. So City 3, Brighton 1. Let us know in the comments down below what you thought of the game. Whether you think that Brighton weren't as dominant as I thought. If your man of the match is someone different to Kevin De Bruyne. And if you think I was a little bit harsh and perhaps Mahrez and Ederson. Thanks for watching. Please do like the video if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. And we'll see you guys next time.